Welcome to Nearfest October 15th, 2022. Later, you will hear a commentary from me where the focus isn't very good. Sorry about that, but I did have trouble adjusting it. And then I will make a comment on the ARRL, and you may not want to hear that because it's not particularly favorable. So here I am.
Okay. Okay, here we are at Nearfest. It's Saturday. I did not come here Friday because the forecast was for rain, and it did rain up to probably a little after 11. And I wasn't going to come all the way from Cape Cod. And there were no motels or hotels that you can get at because all the leaf peepers are using them up, most of them anyway. And I talked to the people who take the tickets at the gate. They said yesterday people did start to come after about 11 o'clock. And after noon, they really got a number of people. She said that some people set up and then just left. They set up and they left so that they'd be all set for today. So we'll see how today goes. Hopefully the people that didn't come yesterday because of the rain will make today even more crowded. So Skip is my cameraman. He does a great job here, and so I really do appreciate seeing him every time I come up. So we'll see how it goes today.
First thing you want to start off with at Nearfest is breakfast. And these are the church ladies, and they serve an excellent breakfast, and it's glad to have them back here this year. Of course, if you want to fill your mouth with grease, you can have sausages and eggs for breakfast, and therefore you won't have to come to Nearfest for a while because you won't be around eating all that grease. We're going to take a look at some of the equipment. There was a fellow selling a Drake 2B. I tried to get him to give me a price on it, and he said he had a minimum, but he wasn't going to divulge it. But then by the end of Nearfest, when he hadn't sold it, he finally did divulge his minimum, which I think was about $250, and he did not sell it. I was afraid to ask the fellow for the price of this Vibroflex bug, but it certainly would have been very high. I use a J38 straight key that I've used since 1959. I can't figure out how these things work, bugs. As far as the attendance, it seemed okay. I was not there on Friday, as I mentioned, because of the rain, but it was a pleasant day weather-wise. It took a while for the sun to burn through some of the fog, but there were a lot of people to meet and a lot of people to greet. Things seemed a bit overpriced. This fellow had a very nice looking receiver, but I don't think he sold it. And I don't know if you can read what it said on top, but he did lay it out pretty good. This was a very nice Heathkit setup. I don't know if it sold, but it certainly was very clean. Back 31 years ago, my daughter bought an HW1I1 there. The guy was selling it for $100. He had listed it for $100, and my daughter, 8 years old, offered him $75, and he said $100. And then they went back and forth for this for a while until I finally said to the guy, "Do you realize you're arguing with an 8-year-old?" And he finally sold it to her for $75. Selling some ICOMs, lots of ICOMs, but he didn't seem to want to take them out of the box, so I don't know how that ever ended up. I didn't see the fellow who was selling these items, but I asked around, and I think his name was Mike. This is the lower level, and there are some hams out here, and there are people that just like to set up here. And so you walk down, and there are a number of good things out here. I did find some good things to buy. I probably should show a picture of what I bought, but maybe not. There are a number of inside buildings, and that probably worked out great on Friday when there was some rain. I've never actually bought anything in one of these inside buildings. There's 3 of them. 2 down here are together, and then there's another one further up higher in the Deerfield campgrounds, Deerfield Fair campgrounds. This is Mr. Mike, W1RC. For many years, he was in charge of running Nearfest along with a bunch of other people that he worked with, and has been a big responsibility for its success. I'm not sure if he's running it. If he was running it this year, someone had told me that there was someone else in charge, but a few years ago, someone had told me someone else was in charge. But Mr. Mike, he is the mayor of Nearfest at Deerfield, New Hampshire.
Um, in walking around Nearfest today, because the sun has now come out, and there's a fair number of people here. It's about, I would say it's probably about average, maybe a little bit below average. Um, but in walking around, you're going to see some pictures, or maybe you've already seen some pictures of some of the equipment that's here. Um, we got to talking, I can't mention names here, but I got to talking with a couple of hams about a transmitter, an AM broadcast transmitter that was donated to W1AW. And because it's no longer there, the Connecticut Wireless Association got it back. But yet a lot of work was done by a very well-known ham, AM ham, to get it to run. I said, well, why is it back? And they said they wanted it back. Now, in discussion with a group of people, they said the new ARL CEO wanted it out of there, and in a sense, and the technical guy that was there, whose call I don't recall, it started with WA1, maybe it was WB1, he left, and apparently people are very disenchanted with the new CEO. The employees are very disenchanted with that. I can't get anyone to go on record about it, but they were. I'm giving you the commentary off their commentary, but I can't give you names. That in itself should tell you a lot about what's going on at the ARRL. And I don't know if you recall my interview with Bria N2RJ, which maybe I'll provide a link to this video on. But in that video, she was very free to have an interview, and she's an ARL director. And it was clearly obvious from how she felt about the new CEO. So I wonder how long this guy is going to last. So we're going to go back to Nearfest, and maybe I'll have some interviews with some people. Okay, your name and call.
Seamus Casey, N1 iOS.
And how long have you been licensed?
Since 1990 or 91.
And where did you get your license, or when did you get your license?
I got at Cape Cod Tech.
Which is?
My high school, your former high school.
Okay, and how do you know me?
You were one of my teachers.
Was I any good?
Yes, you were. You were a hard ass, but you were good.
Okay, how was I kind of, I think you said hard ass, is that what you said?
That is the word I
Okay, how was I a hard ass?
You were strict, firm, but, you know, did the right job.
Okay, hopefully you learned something during all that period of time.
I did.
And you were inactive for a while. Were you inactive for a while?
Yep, I was, life kind of got in the way. I had other focuses, such as career and doing a lot of traveling instead of get on the radio, but recently got back in, and as of last month, finally upgraded to both general and extra in the same session.
What is your career?
I'm a software engineer, work machine control systems.
Okay. And now that you're getting active again, what did you buy for it? Did you buy some new equipment?
I did. I still had radio I bought back maybe like 96, a TS-140, bought it used then.
Okay.
Still had that, but I wanted something that would be nice, quick, and easy to get on some of the newer digital modes. So recommendations from a few people, yourself included. I picked up the 7300. Love it so far.
Okay. And I know I saw you here a few years ago. Are you here at Nearfest to buy anything in particular, or just to look around?
A few accessories. Need a coax switch, decent VHF, UHF antenna, and whatever else. I got a little checklist on my phone, and I'll peruse around, see what I can find.
What don't you like about ham radio?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, well, I can think of 1,000 things, but that's...
I probably could too if I gave it some thought.
Okay. What do you like about it?
I like just the opportunity to experiment. That's like the biggest draw to me. Like, I'm not a big fan of just sitting and talking.
Of
Not
what?
even sitting and talking on the radio. I don't do that a lot.
Okay. Do you
Not
ever?
even talk on the phone, but
Do you think you'll do contests?
oh, very unlikely.
Say that again.
Very unlikely.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we kind of share that. All right. Thank you very much.
I have to say that this was the coolest thing at the Hamfest in Deerfield, a refrigerator. Uh, and I don't know if anybody got it, but it certainly was the coolest thing. There wasn't, the price was free. This was a setup for your QRP rig. I think these were the finals for a KX3 or an ICOM 705. This is Tentec. That's an American company. I kind of think they're out of business. I've seen a lot of complaints on QRZ about them, so I don't know if they're still doing anything or not. Someone could make a comment about that. Speaking of low power, this is one of the better low power QRP, as they call it, type rigs. I don't think you could operate it off a 9-volt battery though. I believe this is an ICOM 751. I bought one of these for $1,100, but not on Nearfest that day. Back in 1987, I bought it from a guy by the name of Van, who lived in New Bedford, who's now a dead key. This fellow was selling an a KX3 for $1,600. I bought one 9 years ago for about $900 as a kit, and I put it together, and I actually sold it 9 years later for more than I paid for it. But he's asking $1,600. It had a few extras in it too, so we had a little bit of a discussion, and maybe it wasn't that bad a deal. But I don't know if anyone's walking into that Deerfield Hamfest with $1,600 in their pocket. These are a couple of Swans. I bought a couple of Swans on there. I think 2 Swan 350s, and I don't think it was this fellow's because his were too high priced, and I got the power supplies. And one guy was selling a Swan 350 and a power supply, and he was asking $100, and that was a good deal. But I offered him $80, and he got mad at me, and he said, "You're too low." And I said, "Yeah, but you can decide to take it or not take it." He took it. I have a philosophy, which is no matter how good the price is, almost, no matter how good the price is, offer them less. I hope you thought this video was something worth watching, and to end it, I am going to show you a few candid shots around, and then I'm going to have a number of calls that I saw on license plates. And so this is Nearfest October 2022, and I spent about $500. I've already recollected about $150, and I love fixing up vintage equipment and then selling it. And I don't recap anything, okay? I don't believe in recapping. So to recap, you saw some interviews, you saw some commentary, you saw some equipment, and you're going to see some nice calls, and hope you enjoyed the video.